I mean, hopefully it's exciting. We'll see how it goes. Oh, I also have Iron Brew.
Oh, nice. I've gone for Ribena today.
Ah, very
I've
nice.
realized this is like strong now. I mean, it's diluted, but it's like a third Ribena and a two-thirds water. I think I built up a tolerance.
A tolerance for Ribena. Honestly, Ribena, I think, is one of the squashes that this is a TTRPG show. Ribena is one of the squashes where I think you do need more squash than others. I think something like Vimto,
Yeah,
you
but
you need
Vimto, you only
slightly
need a little
less.
bit, and
Yeah,
you still get all the little taste. But Ribena, now you need a bit more.
yeah.
I think that's a really good cold open. I think we just start from this.
Oh, we know we are. We're in the show. We're in the
Brilliant.
show.
Excellent.
This is the show now. Yeah, I think it's tricky with squashes though, especially with kids because like we don't. My kids don't really have squashes. They mostly have water. They're a lot healthier than I am, which is good. That's
I
pretty much the
remember for
aim,
us,
right?
Ribena was a special occasion at the grandparents' house. We'd usually have
Yes.
Robinsons in our house, but no, the good stuff. That was the Ribena.
Did you
And
ever
now
have
as an
warm
adult,
Ribena?
ooh, yeah,
Was that a thing?
yeah,
It's a thing my
yeah, yeah. Definitely
grandparents
have that in
did.
winter sometimes. Especially like I think, especially if you've been like out sledging or something in the snow. Hot
Mm.
Ribena.
I think it's a thing that exists once you get past the midway point of the UK, because my grandparents used to live up north,
Right.
nearer Manchester. So me being on the coast, it's obviously there's a big difference in temperature. So I think the warm Ribena thing must be a past the Midlands kind of tradition, because I don't think I know anyone in the south that had it. But yeah, this is the squash talk.
Yeah, this feels like a PhD. There's a PhD in that.
PhD in squash and the Midlands. We are generally here to talk about TTRPGs, and you are someone who, despite being a D&D tuber, sort of, and I say sort of not in a derogatory way, but in because all of your videos really could be about nearly any RPG the vast majority of times, and I would say that actually your focus tends to be other RPGs, TTRPGs.
Yeah, yeah. So I realized very early on in my YouTube journey that the D&D sphere is full to bursting with many opinions, facts, all kinds of stuff. If I want to find out how to do I don't know, a level 5 paladin with 30 armor class, then that's already solved.
Mm,
What I wasn't seeing was like the advice that's more system agnostic, but allows people to play the game sort of better overall. So things like the narrative side and the storytelling. I've seen lots of people have like one or two like one-off videos about it,
mm,
but my thing recently has been to focus, drill down on that side and find out what we can learn as game masters to hopefully make the stories at our table as fun and exciting as they can be. The risk is that we say, "Oh, we're going to tell a story," and you end up sort of shoehorning it in rather than
mm,
playing the game. The story always has to be the thing that we tell later. But yeah, learning myself how to make the make the stories at my table more fun has been really interesting and passing on some wisdom to everyone else. Though I was saying to some friends yesterday, I think I've been spoiled recently because I've started playing most of my TTRPGs with my comedy improv friends.
mm.
So I've now got an actual play channel as well as my main
You
one,
do.
which you should like and subscribe and do all the stuff for that with. But that is playing with some of the most charismatic, energetic people that I've ever met. And when I love my home group, I love my friends. They do not bring the same energy
Mm.
to the table. It's a very different experience. Whereas, yeah, comedy improv folks just jumping in, adding stuff to the story, pulling things out of nowhere.
Yeah.
At home, it's I swing with my sword. Cool. Okay, yeah, we can work with that. It's the equivalent of like I feel like I've been on a barista or a sommelier course,
Mm.
and I've been absolutely ruined for like what coffee or wine tastes like. But it's very different kinds of games, very different kinds of challenges. I'm also doing a lot of in-person open tables as well, like
Mm.
convention games, but at my local nerdy hangout space, a place called the Gamer Club in Glasgow, which is yeah, do open tables, and so often it's D&D, but lots of other systems as well. And seeing people with a very different experience of the hobby, seeing people who've got a different understanding or even a different kind of fun that they want from the experience is really interesting. It very much keeps me on my toes as a game master. because I could quite easily get soft and say,
Mm,
I don't know, you walk into the tavern, what do you do? And improv players will go, well, I tell the song of my great tale of defeating the dragon of Dragonshire.
mm,
Whereas most people go, I get a drink. And
yeah.
so sort of squaring those two and finding ways to play and ways to make the game fun for everyone.
Mm.
That's been my sort of challenges recently. It's thoroughly enjoying it though.
Do you think a lot of that comes with the confidence and familiarity with the systems as well as improv skills? Because obviously, if you're more familiar with D&D or any TTRPG, I think you get more and more comfortable adding to the world with your character or your choices, or like you say, oh, I go and do this, even though the DM might not have said that that was there. The GM might not have said that was there. Whereas I think as a newer player, you tend to be a lot more reactive and cautious, I guess.
I'd say this is certainly with the improv folks a big part of that because I said to them in advance, "Hey, treat this like an improv game. I will
Right.
yes and to almost anything that goes on. I'll only contradict things if sort of disagreeing with the
Mm,
base reality that I've got put together." So trying to encourage folks to do that as well, when especially if you're a regular player without that kind of theatrical acting, whatever it is, background, coming to a game often your experience of games is the things like Monopoly,
mm.
where the rules are you can do this, you can do that, you can buy a house, you can buy a hotel, you pay rent, you do whatever. You cannot overthrow the capitalist system. That's not in the rules of Monopoly. And
Disgraceful.
I know, but so helping people get out of that mindset of here is this restrictive list of stuff that you can do. If it's not on your character sheet, you can't
Mm,
do it. Is one of the big challenges I've found, especially with new players sort of coming to the hobby for the first time. Whereas the improv folks have the opposite problem of they would have fun with a bit of string,
yeah.
quite frankly. I needed almost no prompting at all to get the sort of narrative happening.
Yeah.
It's then going, "Oh, shall we roll dice?" No, no, I'm busy. I'm telling a story. I'm singing a song. So,
Right.
okay, fine, fine. So they have the opposite problem of they're almost not interested in the character sheets. They're interested in the characters. They know exactly
Mm,
who they are. But yeah, having chatted to some of my players recently, they were saying, well, they almost once they know the character, they
mm,
don't really need the character sheet, and the number of especially the D&D one, I've got a
mm.
a blank one in front of me, and the number of numbers and facts and figures and things to keep track of, and what's the action economy and all that
Yeah.
stuff, that's not their kind of fun.
That makes sense. Is that where presumably other systems are better at facilitating that than D&D?
Yeah, I'd say so, though. I think it's very easy to bash D&D for being, well, anything you don't like about it is you'll find lots of you find lots of people with something bad to say about
Mm,
it, but I do think it is still probably still the best system for new people coming to the hobby,
mm,
even though you might not have the most natural experience with it. The skills you get from that help you in every other system
mhm.
going. If you can play D&D, you can do anything. It'd be like if you learn to drive and you learn to drive on a automatic car.
Yeah.
You never have the experience of learning on manual, whereas D&D is the manual car.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I
With
think D&D's great.
with all the stalling and all of the bunny hops that
Yeah.
that gives you, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you are then able to drive absolutely anything.
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. I really like D&D. Like I like playing D&D. I like tweaking and messing around with D&D, not because I think it's broken or doesn't fill the needs that I have from a TTRPG, but because I like messing with things. It's just a built-in. I'm a human. I think it's a natural human
Ooh,
impulse.
what's that do? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
don't press the button.
What if I push it twice? Is that fine? And that's very much where I am, and that's why I'm so glad that D&D Beyond has been more receptive to third-party books and things like that, because a lot of those subclasses and spells and books in general, they play around with the rules of things. Like there's one of the gunslinger subclasses has a. I've talked about this before. I can't remember when. I know it was in the review, but I'm sure I've talked about this before elsewhere as well. But you can state that you've dealt a certain amount of damage on your dice, and the DM can call your bluff. And if
Nice.
you were telling the truth and they say that you were lying, you deal double
Mhm.
damage. If you were
Nice.
if they call your bluff and you weren't telling the truth, you deal normal amount of damage. Things like that. It's a
Mm.
really really fun system, and I really
Yeah.
like the fact that, because I don't think we're ever going to get that from mainline D&D, because they're trying to sand the friction off of it, which I
Mm.
understand, but from a mechanical standpoint, it makes it a lot less interesting. Which is why I'm so
Yeah.
glad that the third party books are happy to put
Mm.
on prickles and spikes at all the different
Mm.
angles to
Yeah, I
keep
think
it.
that's fun. And it's probably not balanced. It's probably not
Yeah,
beautifully play tested, but it sounds cool. I'd
it's
love to. The
fun.
thing is, I'd really enjoy like playing like a gunslinger game, like
Mm,
just a standalone RPG where that's the core mechanic.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's something I enjoy about indie TTRPGs and all of the sort of the wide sphere of it is that D&D is the right tool to give you the particular kind of story and particular kind of fantasy. D&D, if you play it by the book, it's the story of people from relatively humble beginnings,
Mm.
gaining power, gaining skills, gaining abilities, learning about the world until they're strong enough to headbutt God.
Which is the
And that,
dream.
and oh yeah, yeah, we'll dream of that. But that is the itch which D&D
Mm,
scratches. I think better than any system. Um, and it's been obviously refined over 50 years to manage that. But then
mm,
when you see people making like cool subclasses or little different
yeah,
additions to things, that you're playing out a slightly different fantasy to that. You're playing out the gunslinger. You're playing out is it Clint Eastwood? Who am I thinking of? Yeah.
yeah. I
How
think
many shots in the fire is it? Yeah, 5 or 6. Are you feeling
yeah,
lucky, punk? All of that.
yeah. Clint Eastwood.
Um, yeah. That's a different kind of fantasy
Mm,
again, and bolting that into D&D it can work well. It can be fun, but it's not the core experience of that.
yeah.
And the thing that I love about playing so many different RPGs, so the example I speak about a lot is Brindlewood Bay, where
Yes.
you are a group of little old ladies solving crimes together. That's the premise.
The
Off you
Murder
go.
She Wrote RPG.
Mhm. And you could play that in D&D if you wanted, but there's a system pre-made for that with so many nice, so many just nice specific things
Mm,
about it that you can have that adventure, and it's just all in one place. You're not having to say, "Oh, we're going to ignore, I don't know, a tax opportunity because
yeah,
everyone's moving around a Zimmer frame or something. They're not going to be that fast." You can make almost anything happen in D&D, but when there's a specific system that allows you to have a specific experience, then I think that's the real power of it. And what gets interesting for me as well is when new systems. So, yeah, Daggerheart being the darling of the internet just now. Um, that kind of is giving you the same template. People from humble origins, they grow in power and
mm,
skills until they're powerful enough to headbutt God. That's that's great. Um, but it's interesting what they've added and what they've taken away
yeah,
in order to streamline that experience. And it gives you it's still telling the same story, but with a different rule set and with a different focus on your gameplay as well. So
yeah,
that one's much more. It's less about the power of the individual. It's about the power of the group. So they have like the tag team mechanics, and so many of the
yeah.
spells and abilities that people can do is about helping out someone else. And so it's a good bit of game design there.
Do you think Daggerheart does enough to really stand apart from D&D?
I'm not sure it needs to. I
Okay.
think it. I think it's got the. It's a complete system,
Yeah.
and I like that. So the entirety of the rule book, almost all of it is how to play Daggerheart. What's interesting in D&D is that the first 40 pages or so of the
Mm,
player's handbook is here's the rules that everyone abides by.
yeah.
And then the entire rest of it is now here's why you're the special one. Here's why you don't play by that rule.
Right.
Here's why you have this different ability. Daggerheart pulls that out into the cards
Mm,
for the individual abilities and slots and stuff.
yeah.
And it means that the guidance on running the game is actually more of the book. So everyone is playing by more of the same rules, and you know that the things that you when you're not playing by the rules, when you've got your special abilities and stuff,
Mm,
that's almost like a smaller part of it.
okay.
Um, And likewise, if you use Brindle Bay again, everyone's playing by the same rules, and then you've got
Yeah.
like one exception that you have. You have one thing that you can do differently. Where you've got stuff that is from your. You can use an item from your cozy place in order to help you with an activity.
The biscuit tin.
And yeah. Not with no biscuits inside, obviously.
Obviously,
Yeah.
there's. I mean, I feel like our generation's biscuit tins will have like amiibo and weird Lego minifigures and all sorts of other strange stuff by the time we get to that
weird
age.
USB cables, all of that.
I had to throw away a bag of cables. You know, the ones where you're like, I'm sure these are useful, and then I realized that I hadn't touched them in like a year and a half, and it's just like, I'm just gonna bin them. I'm just gonna.
Is your life now poorer because of them?
No, I feel slightly freer. My room is slightly cleaner. That helps.
That's good. Yeah, I've got a full on traveling trunk for like a. I think my mum gave it to me. It's this big chest full of cables. It will be with me till I die. I've made my peace.
Bury me with the chest of cables.
Yeah, really confuse some paleontologists later on. These ancient remains of.
This Scotsman seems to have been mummified with USB cables for some reason. Heck of a send off. Do you find yourself favouring specific TTRPGs in amongst all of the ones that you play?
The ones I find myself coming back to a few quite regularly. I'll try and read as many different ones as I can. And I was going to say I made a mistake. It was no mistake at all. I went to Ancient Robot Games in Edinburgh, which is one of my many happy places. There's a little back corner of there, which is just wall to ceiling of awesome indie TTRPGs, some of which I don't have. And my trouble is that I'll go in there and think, oh, I'll see what they've got in. And then I'll go, ooh, I watched that Quinn's Quest video. Oh, I saw Henk talking about that. And I'm like, So I picked up Mythic Bastion Land, and I picked up Shadow Dark, and the new edition of Cairn as well, and suddenly £100 poorer. But all the books get read. That's my rule. And I'm actually finishing off reading the Cult Game Master's Guide, which my friend Martin gave to me.
Oh, cool.
So I don't know if you know Cult. That's very much modern day horror, and it's something I'm probably not as good at as a game master, is running horror games. I don't like learning about like rising tension and dread and all that kind of stuff. So seeing that written down and codified is really interesting. But to answer the question, the games that I'll come back to are the ones that I know can be really fun out of the box. Because I'm still on my mission to try and find a long campaign to play. Finding the right group to say, hey, for the next 100 weeks of our lives, every Thursday is. I'm still looking out for that. In the meantime, it's playing short games and one shots, and the games which people are most excited about tend to be the ones with the shortest premises.
Yeah.
So there's lots of folk lots of friends are very keen on Mothership, for example. It's Alien. Let's go.
Yeah.
Brindlewood Bay. Ladies of Crime. Let's go. Whereas trying to explain something like the nuance of, I don't know, why you should play Daggerheart instead of D&D. That's a very thinky conversation to have.
Yes.
Rather than, whereas a great example, I was looking for players to play Clockworld, which is a game which not many people know about yet, but they will very soon, because that is by Peter
from Tales from Elsewhere, who's lovely,
who we love a lot. And I, among my improv friends, I put up a little casting call. Said, "Hey, who's up for this?" In exactly 40 seconds, all of the slots were full, because it's like, "Hey, who wants to play Weird West,
Weird West horror game,
steampunky Weird West with some eldritch horror going on?" And just it's like, Philip, this is great.
It's a heck of a pitch.
Yeah, and you know the kind of story that you're going to get to tell in that.
Uncomfortable with lots of body horror, basically. You know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, so we actually played a game yesterday. So the plan is that I'm going to run an actual play of that, which will come out just around in time for the Kickstarter launch.
Very cool.
Which is cool. So yesterday, I had the pleasure of being game mastered by Peter for the first time ever.
Oh, wow.
Which is very cool. I've not managed to have the chance to do that before. But he ran a game of Clock World for me and my players, and it was so much fun.
How
And I
was
got
yeah?
to, yeah.
Go on.
Yep. The only difficulty was that I know that I'm going to be running the game for my players next time, so I was constantly on the lookout for ways to die.
Right, that makes
I had
sense.
I had to extricate my character from the from the adventure. Managed it eventually. I'd clocked Peter in on this as well, so he could
Mm,
give me an opportunity. So in the end, the entire haunted house fell down on my character. The only trouble was that she was already a being of the Eldritch lands from elsewhere
right,
already, and so rather than dying, she had a monstrous form where she just turned into lots of faces, like theatre masks crossed with no face
right.
from Spirited Away, and yeah, the entire thing came crashing down on her. And then as the party were trying to look to find her, they just found these individual faces, all just sort of screaming, with no like central part to her.
That's amazing.
It's lovely. It made me so happy. Just deeply, deeply unsettling. But she could easily come back as a antagonist or something because she was
Yeah,
just like a useful party member for most
yeah,
of
yeah. Of
it.
course.
But then, yeah, twisting that around to find a way out of it. So we'll pick up for the actual play in the aftermath of that session where they've just lost their friend. So I'll be leading into the roleplay side of that, and obviously then looking to highlight the system
Yeah.
as well. But we had a lot of fun. Two of my players, Fraser and Ailey, came in full fancy dress, completely unbidden, just head to toe cowboy gear. Cowboy gear,
So
great.
extra.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of overachievers. Um, so, for example, I ran for my Daggerheart game that I ran as an actual player. Where I had 4 players for that. Who was that first time playing
Mm,
TTRPG, basically. We were meant to have 5. My friend Henry was hoping to come, but he couldn't get his shifts changed. So we said, okay, we'll do it at 4. And then we said, well, okay, should we do a solo game, just me and
mm,
you? And I was thinking, well, it'd be really good because I thought, well, you can have this character who's going to be like captured by some baddies, which is why I separated from the party. So
yeah.
it's going to be like stuck in a cave or something. Well, wouldn't it be good if, like, there's dream sequences, other players could like send him messages through the ether? So I got people just record voice memos just on their phones, just nice little.
Mm,
I thought, oh, we miss you. Find a way out. We'll get back to you. We'll be together again soon. And then just ramp the reverb right up
nice.
on that. But Jack, little overachiever that he is, he said, "Oh, I think I've written a song," and he sent me a voice memo of yeah, him playing piano, singing a song. This is a couple of minutes. You'll see very soon, actually. So by the time this video goes out, that video will already be out in the world. But it's uh, it's a Elton John style standing at the piano,
Mm.
big sunglasses on, singing this big power ballad about his friend. And he came over and, like, actually played it on piano. We, like, did it with the, like, the good production gear and stuff,
Mm.
and, yeah, made a music video for it, which then, as part of a dream sequence, I then put on my TV so that Henry could see it in session,
That's very
and
cool.
it is glorious, yeah. The reaction cam, 'cause I put a little, like, sort of circle in the corner so you
Mm.
could, like, see Henry's face as it came on. I was just like
I mean,
uh,
you need players like that if you're doing an actual play, though. You need players that are beyond the average home game. And I'm in no way decrying home games. Obviously, I do not play professionally. I play in home games and I have a blast. But you need
yeah.
players who are more committed and more
Mhm.
willing to be shameless in their presentation of their
Yes.
characters, right?
Yes, exactly, and it's a bit of a tricky one because to do an actual play is to perform D&D. It's to
Mm.
perform a TTRPG, which is not the same as just playing it
Yeah,
together. Playing and performing are two separate things because your motivations are different. If you are playing the game, you are looking to be yeah, you're often looking to win. You're looking to sort of solve the puzzle, get through the story. Um, when you're performing it, it's almost like the moment to moment of the show is what you're aiming to. You're looking to make every moment good,
yeah,
and you kind of don't worry about the end game for it.
yeah.
So it's maybe when people's experience of TTRPGs is actual play,
Mm.
I think that's why there's a lot of the disconnect between the two. Of
Yeah,
why doesn't my home game feel like this? It was because all these theatre kids are all
yeah, yeah,
are
yeah.
all looking to sort of show off together and to do funny stuff. Whereas when you sit around with your friends, it's like, oh, I've got a +2 sword. Yeah, I've swung my +2 sword.
You can go. You can do a shopping episode in a
Mm,
home game. You should never do a shopping episode in an actual play. Is advice Brennan Lee Mulligan gave me when I chatted
yes.
to him. I was like, "What's the main
Yeah.
difference?" And he was like, "What's fun for the players isn't always fun for the audience," and that's the key takeaway, and
Yeah.
I think the most important aspect of it, because you need to not only keep yourself entertained as the DM, but also your
Mm,
players entertained, the player characters entertained, and also
mm,
the theoretical audience entertained. And it's just a whole different level of running a game, and you have to be more cinematic in your descriptions
yeah.
and in
Yeah.
your story beats as well.
Mm. Yeah, so it's something I've been learning recently, and yeah, thanks to Brennan a lot for so much wisdom. There's a book that he recommended in an interview
Mm.
with someone else called Story by Robert McKee,
Mm-hmm.
and I've kind of taken that one completely to heart because it's all about cinematic story writing. So how to like as a if you're a screenwriter, what are you looking to do to make a sort of compelling script,
Mm-hmm.
and taking those lessons from the sort of world of cinema into TTRPGs, there's a lot of the same lessons that we can learn. Obviously, they need to like transpose them a bit, and these are like professional writers who get to draft it a lot. But noticing, like, say, like rising action and different beats and story arcs and
Mm-hmm.
all that, weaving all that together is is the game of actual play. Which, yeah, Brennan and all of them, all of the I don't even call that big famous TTRPGists,
Yeah,
they do so well, and for me, it's really fun to learn because I'm very new at that still, but learning how to emulate that and noticing the things that they do well, noticing what is going to be fun for an audience to watch and what isn't. So oddly, I'd say combat is not that much fun
no,
from an audience perspective compared to dialogue and roleplay,
yeah,
which is strange because we think, oh, well, these games are all about combat. This is the main draw of it. But sitting, rolling the dice, then measuring squares and
yeah.
figuring stuff out, looking up abilities and stuff, that is so much slower. And for what should be the highest drama, the biggest stakes,
Mm.
the absolute climax of the game, it really does take the pace out of it.
You
And
need players who are hyper familiar with the systems and very
mm,
competent to do combat
yes,
in an audience pleasing way. There can be no
mm.
hesitation about what you're doing. They have to have
Yeah,
their turns ready. It has to be efficient, and that's hard.
yeah. And either you do it the Dimension 20 style of having lots and lots of cuts,
Yeah,
which they do so smoothly, and I know that those are great players as well, and
yeah,
they and they've all got like the screen training to know to not leave any dead air and to
yeah,
fill the spaces and things. Or like the Critical Role folks, they've been doing it for so long, and they just have they have a fun time even while they're looking up a rule book or something,
yeah.
and that comes across. It's just yeah, it's great, sort of charismatic people having a having a blast. And yeah, learning some of that, trying to emulate some of what they do, helping to instill that in my players as well, and
Mm.
then looking for the stuff that I can do maybe uniquely. That so
Yeah.
finding my own voice, all of that. That's on the cards as well. Just figuring out all that. But I've got a few good I've got a few interesting ones coming up in terms of the actual play. So yeah, doing Clock World is going to
Mhm.
be good, and that will come out in September, early September, in time for in time for their launch. I'm also trying to answer the question of, well, can you dungeon crawl in Daggerheart? Which I don't know. I'm going to find out. So
Should you
that's a
dungeon
bit.
crawl in Daggerheart?
Well, here's a question. Yeah, so I've got there's there's a live actual play group in Glasgow called Definitely Not Goblins,
Mhm.
who are absolute chaos. Even like character creation was ridiculous. They broke like 5 of my pens, 5 pencils. It was, they weren't even unattended. They didn't even leave them unattended.
Kids, man.
um, oh, same age as me, I think. But Yeah, it's not to be trusted. So that one is on the cards as well, and going to be working with Scott from Wenger's Decks, who's a Glasgow-based map making guy,
Mhm.
and he's looking at doing a copy of the Keep on the Borderlands Cave of Chaos map.
Okay.
So having the right map, having everything all
Yeah.
set and ready to go. So aiming to like merge the dungeon crawly experience with the narrative roleplay side, which will definitely come out because it's Daggerheart, because it's well, those players are who they are.
Yeah.
There's not a power in the universe that can stop them being silly sausages. So
Yes. Yes. I think so. A brief go back to where we got my ADHD fidgeting is bad today. Sorry. I don't know why I'm apologizing.
you don't need an apology.
Oh, it's because you're the only person that doesn't have ADHD I've talked to. That's what
Oh
it
yeah,
is.
I'm a token neurotypical.
Yeah.
I
How
decided
dare
to
you?
ask
Yeah.
that.
Someone had to be. It's brave of you to do that. Going back
I feel
to
seen. I feel seen. Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being there to remind us that some people can sit still. Uh, it's important. The when I played Daggerheart, this was back in the beta, so it's obviously changed since then. The takeaway that I actually that myself and my group came away with was that the inspiration for roleplay within the combat was not helpful to us because we were doing all of that stuff anyway. And I think that while the suggestion is that Daggerheart is for theatre kids, I actually think theatre kids will get the least out of it because they're already
Yeah.
doing all of that stuff.
Yes. I think it was under. Oh, who was I speaking to? Oh, Trek.
Yep.
Trek Heroes did a Daggerheart video and mentioned my one in that as well.
Mm.
And I was saying in that so in a comment underneath I was saying, well, I don't think that Daggerheart is a game for theatre kids. I think it's a game for people who want to be theatre kids or
Yeah.
want to have that almost permission to be expressive and silly like that.
Yeah.
You only need rules for the things that you're bad at.
Yeah.
So I had a fun conversation with a champion sword fighter. I went to Paisley Fantasy Con. Spoke to a guy called Ben, who's meddling at I can't remember what broadsword, I think, but he's one of the like big historical European martial arts
Mm.
folks. But he was saying he really hates D&D combat because as a real sword fighter, he knows all about it. And why am I only getting one blow every 6
Yeah.
seconds? Where he can a literal flurry of blows to cause chaos. So
Yeah.
he probably wouldn't need the rules for that. He'd be looking for maybe a more narrative, sort of more free form
Yeah.
thing for a combat. But for the roleplay side, something like Daggerheart would work well for him
Yeah.
because he'd then have the guidance for that. It's maybe not his skill set. And I suppose the opposite. If you are a group who are just natural role players and will look for the opportunity to yes and to sort of embellish out the world and sort of grow
Yeah.
things out of it, then having the prompts in the cards in Daggerheart is possibly not as useful to you
Yeah.
as it would be, or for example, for my home group who need pushed and prodded and
Yeah. Gentle
yeah.
suggesting down the path.
Yes. Would you like to talk to anyone in this tavern? No, we're just going to have our drinks. Okay.
Well, I tried.
Yeah. As a town crier comes into the tavern, bustling through the door, and says, "Hear ye, hear ye! Here's an inciting. Here's
Hear
a quest.
ye,
You
pointing
look,
at you.
you look adventurous. Yes. Thank you so much, Mike Shea. By the way, who I love the conversation that you with him
Oh, thank
recently.
you. He was,
Yeah.
he's wonderfully insightful.
Yeah, but secrets and clues, separating out the thing that you need your players to find out from a
Mm.
source of information and not locking that behind a skill check or assuming they're going to interact with the tavern keeper or
Yeah.
something is so good. And it's got me out of so much trouble in games where I've gone, oh, I don't know, I've got something really cool this way, but nothing much over there. It means that players go the other way or choose
Yeah.
the awkward path for me. It's knowing I can just make sure those clues come out in some
Somewhere
other
else.
way. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master, which I hope everyone's come across watching this. If you've not, highly recommended.
Yeah. I am racking up some big names with interviews, and yeah, he was one of
Yeah.
the big ones recently. So he was a pleasure to talk to. Very verbose in a very good way. Not surprisingly, as he runs a one man talk show, so
Yeah.
hell of a skill. Not one I could. I don't think I could talk solo about stuff for. It's a genuine skill. Yeah, it's interesting that I think what you're saying is correct as well about you need rules for the things you're not as good at, which means that theoretically, eventually, were you to practice enough, you would be able to just play a TTRPG with literally no rules and still have fun with it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've played sort of D&D while out with my brother. We just went walking up a mountain one day, and I was game master, he was player, and I had a dice app on my watch actually,
Right.
which
Very
and
cool.
just rolled that when there was something uncertain. But we just played a game while walking up a hill, and this stuff it's almost it's a bit zen, a bit sort of like minimalist. Like, what do you actually need to have the experience that TTRPGs can give you? And I suspect if everyone's on the same page, if you're in that high trust scenario. So I've got a video in mind about sort of high trust and
Yeah.
low trust gaming, which I know Peter covered actually a couple of days ago in his video. But there's all kinds of stuff to say on that. But if you have a group who are excited for the story and you treat it like a soap opera rather than a puzzle to solve or a thing to be sort of completed, then you can play it with almost nothing, and you can have
Yeah.
a very powerful experience without nearly so many of the trappings and the sort of conventions of the game. I am, however, still very fond of rolling dice at every opportunity, and I very much enjoy the character sheets and the plus ones and the bonuses and stuff. I've got a whole tray of brightly colored dice standing by for
Very
any
nice.
for any reason. Um, but I've found that I don't get my fun so much in the min maxing and the optimizing and stuff. I if I'm looking for a strategic or maybe not strategic, but if I'm looking for puzzles to solve and that kind of, if I want to feel like I'm winning, that's not a unique experience to TTRPGs. That's something I can
Yeah.
get from computer games or I don't know, play chess or
Yeah.
something. But I feel like that's not where I get my fun anymore.
That makes
Still
sense.
very much enjoy chess. I was teaching my nephews; they're a delight. They're going to get good one day. But yeah, as Central Scotland's under 11s chess 2 years running, I don't. I peaked. It's been all downhill since. uh, but I know I've got the strategic brain. I know I can do that if I need to.
Yeah.
I don't tend to chase that thrill in my TTRPGs. And for me, the excitement now comes from the narrative storytelling, the having the adventure together,
That makes
which
sense.
is hard to teach, hard to instill in other people. And I'm sort of obviously trying my best with, with my YouTube channel to find ways of the bits of wisdom that I found, and especially the sort of mistakes I'll make along the way, trying to share that with people so that folks can hopefully skip some steps and have some good wisdom. But as usual, it's talk to your players, folks. Find out the experience that you want to have, because you can have the best time just swinging swords,
Yeah.
smashing skeletons,
Yeah.
and that can be a delight. And it's interesting. I've not seen much of that kind of actual play.
Just
Thinking
like
about it,
pure mechanical actual play.
yeah,
Ice, because I don't think
yeah.
anybody would watch it.
And so you end up with this sort of false. Oh, what would the word be? It's not the Overton window. That's for politics. But the window of what acceptable TTRPG
Yeah.
playing like is so heavily skewed to the narrative side
Yeah,
that
for sure.
then people will think if you're then playing a tactics strategy heavy game, that's not how it should be done because you don't see it being done like that.
Yeah,
And
if you're
so you end
playing
up
one with
gearing up.
survival and rations and water and specific travel distances and everything else,
Yeah.
that's incorrect. Yeah.
And then you wonder why you're not having that same experience as what you see out there. So yeah, I think there's another PhD in that.
Yeah, probably. I like both. I like the mechanical crunch of combat. I like min-maxing stuff. I like doing the cool thing. And when I make my characters, I tend to start with the mechanics first, and then I develop a story that justifies the ridiculously overpowered build I've created.
Oh, see, I'm the opposite. I'll come up with I'll often have a It usually starts with trauma, frankly. I'll probably have at least a. I'll probably have a class in mind, especially in D&D, because like different play styles and stuff. It's a very different experience if I'm a cleric
Yeah,
compared to if I'm a barbarian or
yeah,
whatever. So I'll probably have a class in mind, and I'll start much more from their story, from their background. And I'm notorious for making mechanically bad characters,
right.
but because I've got the good strategic brain and stuff, I can tend to keep them alive.
Hmm.
So I ran a cleric with a strength of 8,
Right, nice.
which is tons of fun.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, for the character creation, I'm all about, because if I know who they are, I find the role play easier. I find
Yeah,
even in combat easier if I know what their motivation is. Well,
that makes sense.
are they going to? Are they impetuous? Are they going to chase after that criminal that stole the
Yeah,
bag, or are they just going to laugh at their friend who's
who's had their
just
bag
been robbed?
stolen? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that makes perfect
um,
sense. That makes perfect
yeah, yeah.
sense.
And for that one, yeah, I've been very much enjoying Ryan's book, the Game Master's Compendium of Explosive Creation,
Hmm.
which you've had that one as
Verdigris
well, haven't you?
table.
Yeah, yeah, Vertigo Table, yep. Um, and yeah, you're mixing all the cool folks.
I've got
Good to hear.
a couple of people left
Yeah,
to collect.
yeah. Are we like Pokemon to you?
Not specifically.
Yeah,
I don't have a
or
Pokédex.
yeah, or like football stickers. That was yeah.
No, but I do like talking to new people. Like that's the thing that drives this whole interview thing is that I really like talking to new people. And then more often than not, after I talk to a new person, I'm like, we are friends now. And
Yes.
Gobi encapsulated this perfectly when I talked to her, and she was like, no, we've had a conversation. We're best friends now. That's how this works. And it's like, right, okay, cool. That makes more sense. That fits more with the narrative of how I do this and why I do this. And obviously, it helps that we're in a lot of shared spaces and stuff because
Yeah. Yeah, I think
that
well,
helps.
I first came across you thanks to the Dungeon Tubers Dungeon Jam, which is fun to
Yes,
say.
it is
And
fun to
so
say.
yeah, yeah, and but it's cool finding these spaces where, oh, is it that person on the internet? Oh, I've seen you. Oh, you're
Yeah.
famous. And then, but it's even more odd when people say that to me. Like, what? Really? I got recognized at a I was at someone else's D&D night. I
Mm.
wasn't even wearing my uh,
Your signature top.
the t-shirt, yeah. I thought, oh, you're that guy from the internet, and the immediate panic of, oh God, what have you found on Bebo? It's still,
I swear I haven't used MySpace in 20 years.
I think if you look hard enough, there's a video of me incredibly drunk, aged about 18 or so, singing the Phantom of the Opera, but the Nightwish version, the heavy metal version, but also both parts of it as well. So the Phantom and Christine. Uh,
that's a
but
lot.
but it is lost. I'm assured it is lost to the mists of time,
Hmm.
and will not be.
Find it. Find it, viewers. Find it now. We must flood socials with Rich.
If you do start searching for me, you're likely to find my old band is the main thing that'll come up. But I also need to get better at my own SEO because I started a business. That's the other new thing. Slightly off topic from TTRPGs again. But that's not really news for us.
There are no topics here.
Um,
Yeah.
no, no. But yeah, so I started my own business doing a technical visualization. So taking engineering projects, running them through computer game software, which turns out to be the right tool for the job, and basically helping engineers show off. Because I do suspect that engineers are quite like my home group of TTRPG players. Of they're great on the mechanics, less good on the narrative.
Mm.
So the business is helping engineers show off
Good.
basically. And so I did a cool little business launch on Monday, and it's all kicking off. So I'm going to be insufferable on LinkedIn. That's
LinkedIn is truly the worst of the social platforms. The most disingenuous posts.
yeah.
It's
I'm
awful.
always. It's cool seeing all these people who are on a heartfelt journey, who are
All of them.
like
Every single person.
yeah, God, you've got a promotion from junior management to middle management. God, that's big for you. I'm pleased.
It's exhausting. It's business
Yeah.
speak, and it's so far away
Yes.
from.
It's not how humans
Yeah.
speak to other
No,
humans.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's so unnatural.
Mm.
It's so strange. I mean, if they're happy, then that's fine. But I
I hope they are. I really hope they are.
I hope they are. I have suspicions
Yeah.
otherwise, but I do hope that they
Mhm.
are happy.
See,
With
now I'm thinking, how can I use that into a building? There's like a culture within this world who will only communicate to the adventurers
through
in
LinkedIn posts.
corporate buzzspeak and platitudes, and they'll be excited for the opportunity to work together and looking out for synergies with the adventuring party.
That's very funny. Awful. The LinkedIn TTRPG coming to you soon
Oh,
from Rich Renegade Rolls.
no, it will not be. No.
You heard it here first. Tales from LinkedIn. Oh, I feel ill. Oh,
This is what happens when we don't have a script. This is what
yeah.
happens
This
when there's
is.
no
I mean, we
gags
don't
and planning.
normally. I have questions. I have literally. I haven't even looked at the three lines I wrote as
All right.
as reference for this. Let's end it on a high. If there was a
Always.
specific, one singular bit of advice that you would give people to improve their narrative role playing, what would it be?
Tell your players that you want to do more narrative role playing. That's it.
Communication,
Uh,
shocking.
yeah, talk to your players. So often, you and your groups will have different priorities and different things you want to focus on. If you can, it'll sound clunky and say, "I would like to work on this,"
Mm,
but if you make that explicit, it really, really helps. There's something again, another improv thing. We talk about framing, where you just almost name loud and clear
mm.
the weird thing. It's like, "Hey, you're addicted to Ribena." That's
Yeah.
unusual. Um, but to be very clear on the stuff that you want to work on and develop. So if you are looking to improve your role play, that might not be for everyone, and you might find that folks in your group, they want to be whacking skeletons, having a
Yeah.
dungeon crawl. But yeah, finding folks who you feel comfortable, safe in order to be bad at stuff with,
Mm,
and trying role playing for the first time, trying to be more free with that, will feel awkward and cringy, and you'll curl up in a ball and go, that's not good. But you get better at it, and I found it was only scary the first time I did it.
mm-hmm,
So for the first few times running games, I
mm-hmm,
did everything in third person. It was sort of Grognard the troll says, "Gar, get off my bridge,"
mm,
and which was fine. It got the story across. Nothing was really lost by that. But then one time I was thinking, well, I want to get better at this. So I said at the start of the session, "Hey folks, I'm going to try stupid voices. I'm going to try doing stuff in first person. You're welcome to join in with me. You don't have to,
mm-hmm.
but I'm going to see how this goes." And the session was just joyful and ridiculous because yeah, I was sort of being Grognard the troll. I was being goblins. I was trying to
Yeah.
do little small cursed child and whatever it was, but just allowing yourself to be silly and to be bad at it and to fail
Mm,
will yeah will get you a long way. And the next time you do it, it'll be easier and more comfortable.
yep.
And until you're at the stage where you just do it unbidden,
Yes.
whether people want you to or not.
Yep.
So like if I find myself playing an open game. And everyone was kind of in that third person mode,
Mm,
and what was I being? I think I was just being a goblin. I was just some weird little guy, and just doing it all in character and just like, yeah, I've got a shiny thing. This is mine now, and running
yep.
around. That just really brought the game up, and while still trying to be competent, I wasn't causing chaos.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely explain to your players that you want to try and work on that side, even if they don't choose to, and then just try it
Yep.
and accept it we're bad the first time, but you'll learn things from that. I'm going to have a look at some voice acting courses as
Mm-hmm.
well, which will be fun because I I seem to be using my voice for a lot of things for Dungeon Tube and presenting and all sorts of stuff. I
Yeah.
might as well get some lessons, get good at it.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But not necessarily in the slightest for anyone's home games or anything
You don't
else.
need to do voice acting
Eh,
courses.
no, this is very much extra credit for me.
Overachieving. We love to see it. Right, is a pleasure to have you on once again. I appreciate you finding time.
Yeah.
We'll plug normal YouTube channel, actual play channel. Is there anything outside of those you'd like to plug? Last time it was Mappa Mundi.
Oh yeah. Let's see other things that I'm excited about. The Discworld game just came out.
Hmm.
I'm very excited about that. The PDF's just appeared, and I think the print version's coming soon. In terms of other things that will be just exciting, I am super excited for Clockworld, the game by Tales from Elsewhere, my good friend Peter. He is, I think, the smartest person I know. I was thinking, do I want to qualify that with like within TTRPG space or something? But I think I might just leave it there.
He's very
Yeah,
smart.
smartest person I know, and the mechanics, the design, the system, and setting all the rest of it is going to be so good fun. I'm looking forward to backing whatever levels of the Kickstarter I can reasonably afford. And yeah, super excited to see what comes from that. And I don't know when this episode will go out, but
Thursday.
yeah, cool. But yeah, the Kickstarter wish listing is already out, and
Hmm.
it comes out properly in September, along with my actual play.
There you go. Lots
Yeah.
of stuff to look forward to. All right. We just got to say goodbye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.